Hey, good morning, everyone. We'll try and get through this quick so we can get to lunch. Thanks, Jenny. I love the idea of using millennial slang as a prompt in AI. Now I've got some better way, hopefully, to communicate with my surly 12-year-old who says a lot of things that I don't fully understand. My name is Wes Maclaggen. I am CMO of Marin Software. I've been helping performance marketers get the most out of their investment in digital media for the last 20 or so years. And I'm with Marin Software. We're a platform that is aimed at performance marketers. And whether you're aiming to improve your analytics, optimization, or automation, we've got a solution for you. We're an Apple Search Ads partner, and we support all of the major performance marketing channels, so Google, Meta, and so on. What I want to talk about today, I want to zoom in to how we would use AI on Apple Search Ads campaigns. So it wouldn't be a talk in 2023 without mentioning AI. And as Zamir talked about during the panel session, this has been something that's been used by all the platforms for a long time. And it's something that you should be taking advantage of to get the most out of your investment in user acquisition, paid user acquisition. And we'll show you how that worked with one of our clients, PrettyLittleThing. It's an e-commerce example, but I think a lot of the concepts apply to subscription-based apps as well. So the challenge for PrettyLittleThing and the challenge for all of us is how do we get a competitive advantage relative to everybody out there? Because it's not AI that we're competing with. We're competing against other marketers that are using AI. If you look, so what I wanted to do is go back and remind myself, like, what is Apple telling us? How do we get the best out of our Apple Search Ads campaigns? And I went back and looked at the certification, and this is literally a screenshot from the certification, and their guidance for optimizing your campaigns is to regularly review the performance to determine how to adjust your bits. Not a whole lot there to work with, unfortunately, and we think we can do a lot better. To be fair, they do have this recommendations tab. And so you can go in and they'll recommend new keywords you should be bidding, you should look at, bids that you can change, maybe budget adjustments that you want, and they'll even break it down by app for you. If you drill into that bid recommendations tab, there's some interesting data points here. You've got the recommended max cost per tap. You've got search popularity, so how much volume is that individual search term getting? You've got impression share. So how much of the share of voice do you have right now for that term? What's missing from here? Are these keywords working for you? Like, where are your performance metrics? So you'd have to go back and kind of take a look at your metrics to see what's working. You want to focus on what's working for you, not Apple's recommendations necessarily, because what we find that the publishers do with their recommendations a lot of times is they help you to spend more money. What we want to do is help you to acquire more customers and do it more efficiently. So we need to tie together what's working with the opportunities that are presented with these type of recommendations. And so what I want to present here is a few things for us to think about how do you get that competitive advantage and get better results from your Apple Search Ads campaigns. First thing is data. How do you feed the AI with the right data? Because if you're not focused on the right things that are aligned with your business goals, you're going to be missing out. Second is leveraging AI. So how do you take advantage of all this power that's available to us? Third is unified reporting. Apple Search Ads is kind of the focus for this talk, but if you're not stepping back and looking at the big picture of how you're doing with other channels and where this fits in, you're probably missing out on opportunities to have the right budget allocation. And so let's go through each of these in turn. So there's been some discussion already today about the data that you're using. And if you're looking at what's available in Apple Search Ads, the primary thing you're looking at is app installs. You can break that down between new and re-downloads, but what you want to do is get as close as possible to the business value. And so AppsFlyer was up here. They're talking about the different things that you can measure, whether that's, signups, whether that's purchases, whatever it might be for your business. You want to get as close as possible to what is the driver of your business and your business goals. So in the case of the case study that we'll talk about here, this was revenue. How do we look at what customers are purchasing in app and make sure that we're optimizing to that? Of course, in a subscription business, this might be, did they sign up? What plan did they pick? What is their lifetime value? Whatever it is, you want to make sure that you are incorporating that data into your optimization strategy and not stopping at the point of install, of course. The second thing is then how do we then take that data, that foundation that we've built, and make sure that we're applying automation to that? And the way that we look at the world is, in a complex, a big program, you may have lots of campaigns that you're working on. And so we break it down into strategies. And so these strategies may align with, brand versus competitor, category, discovery, the kind of classic structure that Apple will guide you to in setting up Apple search ads. And what you want to do is not think about, okay, I need to set a cost per tap for each keyword. What is my goal for that strategy? So do I have a certain ROAS, a certain return on my ad spend that I want to get and achieve at that strategy? And that's what I should be using as the focal point for my optimization. And there's a range of things that you may want to think about, that you may want to be targeting depending on your focus for the campaign. If you're doing something that's more brand oriented, it may be around share of voice. Am I getting in front of everybody that I need to? It may be a cost per download at the simple side, or a cost per sign up as you get a little bit further on into the funnel. But again, where we see the most value is when you can link it back to, what is the revenue associated with your programs, and what is my return on that ad spend, or even bringing in customer lifetime value and setting a target for each of those, and then backing into the bids that you should be paying based on those targets. Now, we live in a world that's far too complex to be doing this all manually in spreadsheets, trying to calculate these bids on your own. Apple Search Ads has some CPA bidding, but it's pretty rudimentary. And what we believe, and obviously this is what we're trying to help offer here for the market, is that you need to be setting these targets and letting AI take care of the work here. And so it comes down to something very easy. For each of these strategies that you are running, you go in and you set your target. In this case, this is a share of voice target, and I want to achieve between 70 to 80% share of voice for this campaign. And then the system goes in and does all these calculations and pushes the actual bids and optimizes your campaigns to hit those targets. That's how you're going to get the best return on the investment that you're making in your Apple search ads. The third point that I want to touch on here is making sure that you're bringing the data together. What we see from far too many advertisers is that they're working in silos. You've got the user acquisition team focused on Apple search ads. You've got a separate part of the team that may be doing, more brand campaigns on different channels. And if you're looking at those silos individually, you're going to be missing the big picture and missing opportunities to be making adjustments across them. And so one of the things that we really encourage is that you bring your data together into one place where you can see that big picture. Now, this is a screenshot from Marin, our platform, but there's other ways to do it. It can be a shared Google Sheet that you bring the data in manually. That's kind of a painful process, but it's a good place to start if you're not there today. You can bring this data into a data warehouse, visualize it using a BI tool like Looker Studio. But whatever you're doing, make sure that you've got this side by side so you can see, how are my Apple search ads comparing to my Google Universal App campaigns in the example on the right. And you want to be able to have that data there so that you can think about making sure that you've got your allocation and your budgets in the right place and the right perspective. And that brings us to the last point, which is thinking about the budget allocation. And there's an aspect to this that's within channel. There's an aspect to this that's across channels. If you've got your classic setup of brand versus competitor versus category versus discovery campaigns, do you have your allocation set up, or do you have your budget set up correctly to have the right amount of money going to each of those segments? But it also spans channels, right? Is the money that I'm investing in Meta, could that be better used on Apple search ads or vice versa? And in order to understand that, what you need to do is think about what is the opportunity of each of those different channels. So it's very common to go and look and say, okay, historically, how has this channel been performing? Channel A has a lower cost per acquisition than channel B, so I'm going to shift budget over there. But what's really more important is what is the marginal opportunity? And this is a simple example, but imagine you've got spend along the horizontal axis, conversions on the vertical. As you adjust your spend level, how are your conversions going to change? Is your campaign already maxed out? So in the example of the pink one over here, that campaign doesn't have a lot of potential to increase spend. You can increase your bids, you can increase your budget, but you're kind of maxed out. You may have, full impression share. This is a brand campaign. There's just not much more that you're going to be able to do with it. The green, on the other hand, as you increase the spend, there's going to be, a more dramatic increase in conversions. And so what you need to do is identify the campaigns, the pink campaigns, and shift budget over to the green campaigns to drive your overall return and overall performance of your paid campaigns. Again, easier said than done. And this is where the AI comes in behind the scenes to really go in and look at your historical data and understand at various levels of spend, at different bids, what does this auction curve look like? And then do the linear programming to figure out where you should be making adjustments. And that's what a platform like Marin does for you. So does this work? Well, let's now dive into PrettyLittleThing. So PrettyLittleThing is a UK-based retailer targeting women from the ages of 16 to 24. They are global, so they've got a complex program that they're working on, operate in about 12 different markets around the world. And their challenge is to build a stronger audience by increasing repeat purchases and increasing customer lifetime value. So not all that dissimilar from what we're trying to do in a subscription-based world. And so what we did is we worked with them to implement some of the basics that I've gone through today. How do we make sure that we're operating and optimizing to the right data? How do we go from an approach where they were bidding in spreadsheets and calculating cost per tap for each keyword to setting a target for different segments of their program to get and then letting AI do the rest. And then also zooming out and making sure that they've got their budget allocation right across these different strategies. And with those areas, and of course, Apple Search Ads is an important part of that, as is the theme of this talk. So you can see their ads there and their app, of course. By implementing these strategies and using this framework that I've talked through today, they had some pretty phenomenal results. So we were able to increase their app downloads by 22% at the same level of spend. They were able to decrease the cost per install by 26%. So we have a simple goal. We want to deliver more revenue to you and do it in less time. And that performance also has the flywheel effect of increasing the click-through rate. As your app is performing better, it's going to show up better in the results in the App Store. It's all working together to the same end. So my closing plea for you today is, as you're thinking about your investment, and some of you are investing significant dollars in these paid campaigns, stop doing it manually. Stop doing this in spreadsheets. You need to let AI, you need to let technology do this for you. And there's three big drivers of that. There's the just level of fragmentation you're working with, both across channels and within channels, and if you've got complex campaigns going on. You've got the forecasting challenge. Understanding those auction curves is not a simple process. And then the last is frequency. You may be doing some sort of media mix modeling and thinking you've got the allocation covered there, but is that a monthly exercise, a quarterly? For some companies, it's even annual. How do you turn that into something that's responding in real time to changing market conditions? And that's what a platform like Marin can do for you. And so we believe that Marin can help give you a competitive advantage, not just the AI-powered bidding and working across accounts that we're talking about, but tools around budget forecasting and pacing, automated alerts, optimization around that, easily sharing your data. So if you need to bring the data from all these different places into your data warehouse, if you need to distribute that out, all those things are part of our solution. So I'll be around for the rest of the day. Would love to chat and hear any questions that you have and hear about the challenges that you may be facing in your performance media. Check us out here on the QR code or at the link there. And thanks everyone for your time.